Well, it's Monday, the first official work day of the week. Today, Monday, the 17th day in the month of February 2020. Thank you very much for joining us this morning on the platform. It is still the part of the morning show right here. We call it Morning Spice, and this is the discussion segment. Of course, it is the platform right here, the pinnacle of all discussions on Flow 94.9 FM. This is the flow of God's own state. And of course, we promote civil discussions as it affects socio-political discussions as it affects our dear nation, Nigeria, and also as it affects our dear state, Abia State. My name is Michael Oni. A program comes on radio every Monday, every Wednesday, and also every Friday. Now, this morning, we're taking a look at the presidency's warning against planned protest targeted at the service chiefs today. The presidency is blaming a section of the political class in court for misleading the public. The presidency came out on Saturday and said it was aware that up to 2,000 people had been hired to demonstrate against the service chiefs. That we will be taking a look at this morning. The presidency also cited the booing of the president by Maiduguri residents on Wednesday last week as part of the wider plan to continue to embarrass the president. And that, like I said, is what we will be taking a look at this morning. According to Garuba Shehu, the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, he came out and said, well, politicians and beneficiaries of the dreaded terrorist sect Boko Haram are mobilizing about 2,000 men and women to protest against the service chiefs in the country today. And he said that the presidency received reports revealing this intention, adding that the same set of people had hired some protesters to boo and embarrass the president Muhammadu Buhari during his visit to Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. Well, I will quote that particular statement later on, the exact words according to Mr. Garuba Shehu. But in the storm's eye are the service chiefs, which include the Chief of Defense Staff, Abayomi Olonishaki, the Chief of Army Staff, Tukur Buratai, the Chief of Naval Staff, Ibok Ete Ibas, and the Chief of Air Staff, Sadiq Abubakar. They were all appointed on the 13th of July 2015. And the president had said he considered merit and track records in tapping them for their assignments when he gave them the job. And well, the tenures of these defense and service chiefs, according to the Armed Forces Terms and Conditions of Service, expired on the 13th of July 2017, but the presidency has kept them in office despite the public outcry. And let me quote what the law says here. Section 8 of the Public Service Rules stipulates that the compulsory retirement age for all grades in the service shall be 60 years or 35 years of pensionable service, whichever is earlier. I quote. Now, also, Section 4 of the Harmonized Terms and Conditions of Service Officers 2017 states that military service of an officer is a period of unbroken service in the armed forces of Nigeria from the date of commission to the date of retirement from service. Now, each of the service chiefs here has spent above the stipulated service years. Mr. Olonishakin, presently 57, that's the Chief of Defense Staff, has spent 38 years in service. And Mrs. Buratai and Ibers, both 59, have been in service for 36 years. Air Chief Abubakar, also 59, has spent 40 years in service. And there is this rising insecurity across the country. The spate of insecurity has spiked at an alarming rate in the recent years. So we will be taking a look at this call that some persons are being hired, and we are also going to take a look at the processes of protest in the country. I will be joined this morning by a member of the civil society organization, talking about Mr. Lawrence Obiwe. He will be joining me on the phone, and of course to have this conversation. Hello, good morning to you, Mr. Lawrence.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining me on the program, the platform on Flow 94.9 FM. I'm very sure you're aware of the statement, the press statement released by Mr. Garuba Shehu, the president's spokesperson, accusing the opposition of planning a protest for the removal of service chiefs over the poor security of the country. As a member of the civil society, I don't know how you see this call and of the planned protest.
Thank you for having me, and good morning to your listeners. I think we keep going round this circle. Apparently, Mr. Garuba Shehu has not learned from history. Administrations in the past have tried to gag the rights of citizens to protest, peaceful protest, by the way. It has not worked out, including when the current president, then General Muhammadu Buhari, retired. His right to protest, and I think that was pursued up to the appeal court, where it was stated clearly that neither government nor the police nor any security agent has the right to stop citizens from protesting, as long as it is free and free.
Okay.
Even there was a caveat from the Court of Appeal that the police and all other security agencies, as a matter of fact, are supposed to protect the rights of people to protest. So when you have government officials paid by public money, don't forget that President Muhammadu Buhari is not sitting there because he's a genius or he's a business mogul like Dangote. He's there on the mandate of the citizens. And now his official spokesperson is saying that the citizens don't have rights to protest. I think that the first thing to say is that he's been ill-advised.
Okay, as it stands now, what the presidency is saying that a section of the political class, probably the opposition, planned this particular protest to embarrass the government of President Muhammadu Buhari, to mislead the public and incite protests against the heads of military institutions.
Of course, you don't expect anything less from a government spokesperson, but let's look at the facts.
Okay.
Is it the opposition party, as they say, that organized the massacre of citizens in Borno State, where the police shot the gate of the city to commuters, and they were stranded and left on their own, and insurgents came and slaughtered them? Was it done by the opposition? Is it the opposition now that is harassing people on the Kaduna-Abuja highway? Is it the opposition that is killing and maiming people in the southwest road, southeast? So if you look at the details on ground, I don't think that is opposition. I've always advocated that the rights of citizens should not be impeded in any form, in any democracy. And people must understand that when we have problems such as we have now, it is beyond political lineage. I expect even members of APC to come and protest. If you look at the number of people that are massacred on a daily basis in Nigeria, then I don't think that there is any well-meaning citizen now, not political party members, that will fold his or her hands to watch. Because it's just a matter of time. People who cried yesterday that it was opposition, today they are in government. So it doesn't exonerate anybody or immune anybody to be a victim. Just yesterday, news had it that even the current Minister of Transport abandoned his security aides and ran away. So is he a member of the opposition? The security is deteriorating, and when you have service chiefs that have said, I can tell you about 2 of them have passed their retirement age, and you are keeping them. So what that immediately brings is bad blood inside the military, because there are other officers who are eyeing those positions being occupied by this one who are supposed to be retired. So what do? They jeopardize your efforts. They work as saboteurs because they want you fired. So what we are saying in any institution, including the military, once people come and do their bit, you allow them go carry other people. For more than 6 years now, we've been trying these people and nothing has worked. So why are we keeping them? The security problem is deteriorating. When they came in, it's good we put things into perspective. There was nothing else disturbing Nigeria more than the insurgency. Today you have banditry, you have kidnapping, you have armed robbery, you have many other violent crimes. There is not this insurgency. Then it was just about the northeast, then a pocket of people, places around Kaduna, which was actually an ethno-religious conflict in Kaduna, around Kaduna State. So, but today, if you go the whole of northwest, the whole of northeast, the whole of north central, the whole of southwest, the whole of southeast, The roads are impassable. Anywhere you are now, you don't just live there and go to any other. And you have security chiefs whose duty is to perform that number one function of any government, to protect the life and property of citizens. So how can it be sponsored by the opposition?
Okay.
I am not a fan of neither APC or PDP, but I'm saying that citizens should be able to show their grievances in the way things are running in the country.
Mr. Lawrence Obiwe, you're a member of the civil society, and
yes,
I'm sure you've participated in several protests in this country.
Yes.
Can you take us through the processes of a protest? I mean, there should be processes, getting security awareness, being aware of your protest, and some other processes. Can you take us through?
Okay, naturally, if you are planning a protest, you do your internal logistics management, mobilizing your members.
Okay.
But before you go out to the street, you're supposed to inform the police, not apply for permission.
Inform
the police and other paramilitary agencies like the road safety. So that, because the road safety will help you to guide the traffic, you inform the police so that they can prevent breakdown of law and order. Once that is done, you are good to go. And
so you do not necessarily need to seek for police permission before you protest.
No. The fundamental human rights of Nigeria, as enshrined in the 1999 Constitution as amended, includes the freedom of assembly.
Okay.
Freedom of speech.
Peacefully. It should be peacefully to express views. Yes. Okay. So after getting, yes, go on, please.
So when you write to them, that's all. On the day, you expect both the police and the road safety and any other security agency, like the civil defense, that feels that it has duty. The most important thing is to make sure that the protest is peaceful. Then you have your takeoff point and you have your end point. Now, it is even very important that, for instance, you are protesting to Aso Rock. It is important that the head of government in Aso Rock or its delegates address those protesters. What I think Garuba Shehu and his principals are losing by trying to climb down on protest is to seek alternative ideas on the way to solve the security problems in Nigeria. Because if you are relying on people, we have done this method for 5 years, it has not worked. If we have security chiefs that have stayed 5 years managing security and it's deteriorating, I am not sure that as a businessman, you hire a manager and you consistently make losses for 5 years, you still keep them. Not to talk about when they are tenured. Their regimes are tenured and most of them have expired. So why are you keeping them? So the government is not winning this argument, and there is no alternative that they are offering. So this protest should have given them the opportunity to listen to citizens, to see if there are things that they can borrow from citizens and implement. Because at the end of the day, today they are in the glass houses, so they can feel protected. But tomorrow they might be, and if you continue to watch what is happening in Nigeria, the normal saying is usually that one day that the poor will have nothing to eat except the rich. And we are getting to that point where the only thing left to eat now is the rich. Unfortunately, even the poor people are now falling victims of their fellow poor people's frustration. In a country where you have about 13 million out-of-school children, 13 million out-of-school children, you have more than 30 million unemployed people in a nation. You have unskilled labor. How many do we have in our security agencies to be able to curb this unrest? We are sitting on a time bomb, my friend. There is no other way. We are just sitting on a time bomb. The earlier we gather together and begin to speak truth to power, for them to understand that what is happening is not natural,
okay,
the better for all of us.
Okay, I would like to read a part of Mr. Garuba Shehu's reply. I mean, the press release by Mr. Garuba Shehu, president's spokesperson. He said, This eminent gathering is the latest in the series of demonstrations orchestrated by the opposition to embarrass the government of President Muhammadu Buhari. As part of this overall scheme, he mentioned the political party, the People's Democratic Party, with its belligerent politics has been marching from one embassy to the other in protest against the Buhari administration and the nation's highest court of justice, the Supreme Court. I want us to connect this planned protest now to what happened in Imo State. We've had a series of protests in the past days, especially last week. In fact, the Imo State House of Assembly went ahead to ban protest in this state. I don't know how you want to react to this. He's saying that it is being politicized.
Okay, first of all, members of political parties, I'm not holding for anybody, but members of political parties are citizens of Nigeria. And as I always say, politics is just for 6 months. Nothing stops you as a member of a political party not to be an active citizen. So we need to separate these two so that you don't understand it, because from his statement he's looking as if you have ever belonged to a political party, then you have lost your right to citizenship. But it's not so, because politics is about participation. But you are a citizen because you are either born, you either nationalized, or you are registered as a citizen of the country. So it doesn't stop you from participating. That's on one part.
Okay.
Then two, we must look at the bigger picture. Now, the PDP has protested about the judgment of the Imo State Supreme Court judgment on Imo State and all that. I think it's their political thing. But what I'm saying is, what is the protest about? What is the subject matter? The subject matter, don't forget that now they are accusing PDP. President Muhammadu Buhari was in Borno last week.
Yes.
He was told by the same people that voted for him. Have you looked at the figure? Have you looked at the figures that he got from Borno State?
But that has been countered by the presidency, that those that booed the president were hired. They were clearly a hired feud. If
they were hired. And they went to the president dominant zone to come and boo the president, and there was no retaliation from his supporters. Does it make sense? Because you will assume that the ones that are hired are the minority. So the majority of the people there are supporters of President Buhari. So did you see them hailing the president when these ones were booing the president? So what we are saying is that you have the political machination that is going on. But what we are talking about is citizens' rights. For instance, I've never belonged to a political party. I am a member of the protest.
Okay.
So is Gareth Ashero telling me now that I'm a member of PDP because I'm joining the protest? I want to see good governance. I want to see security improve. I live in Kaduna. We're almost locked. You can't go to Abuja, you can't go to Kano. I have many jobs that I'm not taking because I can't move. The elite, Kaduna has said, since I was born, Kaduna has just introduced a flight service from Kaduna to Abuja, a flight service that is less than 10 minutes. So why are the elites not joining the road? Since they know that things are okay. Why are they not yesterday, it was alleged that even the current Minister of Transport ran away from the Kaduna train station, leaving his aides behind. Is he a member of the opposition?
Okay.
So the issue is government must speak as government.
Okay.
Politicians must speak as politicians.
In a country like Nigeria, one question I need to ask you as a member of the civil society: do you think protests work in this country?
Okay, again, I think that's what we should be discussing.
Okay.
The problem is, before you do protest, normally you have milestones you want to achieve with your protest. You are supposed to have a follow-up. But what we have consistently seen in Nigeria is people just going to the street to go and, once they are angered, they go to the street. But after that, nothing happens. So, in the past, nothing has happened.
How do
we must be strategic.
How do we ensure follow-up after getting the go-ahead from the security agencies and, of course, from the paramilitary, like the road safety? How do we ensure follow-up after protests?
Okay, the issue is that in your preparation plan, you must be clear on the things you are protesting about, what you are advocating for, and the indicators that you will see that will tell you that the government has begun to do, is starting to do those things. Now, if you have those clearly, it tells you that during the protest, you know what you are engaging the government on. And that's why I said the government is even losing the opportunity to sit down with citizens to talk. Because normally you protest, the government will answer you and say, okay, we have received this protest, we'll look into it. So you are now looking at those indicators that are supposed to tell you that government is actually doing something about what you are protested about. But you can agree with me that in the past it has not been so. And it's because we always rely on knee-jerk approach. Don't forget that we had opportunity to seriously question our would-be leaders in 2019. We lost that opportunity. We were shouting APC and PDP. If we had questioned them very well, maybe we would have had indication of what their government will look like going forward. We have lost that opportunity. So if we are going to do any other thing now, we need to properly sit down, properly plan it, know exactly what we are advocating for, and have a follow-up even after the protest. Let me give you an instance. If you remember the 2012 Occupy Nigeria protest,
Yes.
it was clearly spelled out, and it was followed up until the government set up an investigating panel to look into the fraud in the subsidy.
That was during subsidy saga.
Yes.
Yeah.
So government followed it up. So, and that's how protest is supposed to go and end. But unfortunately, that's not what we are having. We are just having people who just walk on the street and shout around.
Another question I would like to put to you, Mr. Lawrence Obiwe, all the way from Kaduna this morning, is that you, as a member of the civil society group, I'm sure you're at the forefront of some of these protests to ensure a better Nigeria. What are you putting in place? What are the civil society organizations putting in place to ensure that some of these protests are not hijacked by political parties or by thugs? It's very important because some persons are sponsored even in your fold.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, the problem is you disaggregate your planning process. You don't plan at a bulk. You have divisions manned by professionals among the civil society. So once you do that, and that's why it's very important that you engage, that the security agencies are engaged. For instance, during the protest, if you see anything that you feel that is out of order in what you are doing, you allow the police, they take the person before it escalates.
Okay.
I don't know whether you get me.
I'm getting
so
you.
The security are losing the opportunity to be part of the process. So you disaggregate, make sure that responsible people with capacity to manage are there. You have people who are good in intelligence, so they can even pick things from eye contact. So once it's picked up, you can get the security to take the person. You have the road safety who blocks the both ends of the protest, making sure that infiltration is difficult. So, for instance, if somebody is running from the other side to enter the protest, the security already sees that this person has not been part of this protest. So, there are guidelines, there are frameworks for protest. But it becomes very difficult when government is trying to clamp down on citizens' right to peaceful protest. And that's when most times it goes ugly. Because you can't doubt the fact that the politicians will always behave like politicians. They will infiltrate the camp to make sure that it turns to something else or turns political. It's like the town hall meetings you do in plenty states. You want to do a budget town hall meeting, that is supposed to be a technical thing, but you see people chanting APC, PDP inside. But if you control it, you can still achieve your result without distraction.
All right. Mr. Lawrence Obiwe, all the way from Kaduna, thank you very much for joining us this morning on the platform.
Always a pleasure.
All right. There you have a member of the civil society organization there speaking all the way from Kaduna this morning, Mr. Lawrence Obiwe. And of course, you've heard a lot from him, the right to peaceful protest in Nigeria. And of course, we're taking a look at that particular right with what the president released yesterday. The press statement by Mr. Garuba Shehu, the president's spokesperson, that accusing the PDP and opposition of planning a protest for the removal of the service chiefs over poor security in the country. And it says the effort is to embarrass Mr. President. That's talking about Muhammadu Buhari. And well, he said that as part of the overall scheme, the PDP has been marching from one embassy to another and also organized some set of persons to boo Mr. President during his visit to Maiduguri last week in Borno State. So this some of us actually the rundown for you to have an idea of what we're discussing this morning. I know you have a lot to say about this. That's why I'm throwing the lines open right now. It's 0808 182 6949 or 0811 605 2949. Also drop messages on 0906 510 8289. It is the pinnacle of all discussions right here on Flow 94.9 FM, the platform, the first edition for the week. Hello, good morning to you.
God bless you, Mike.
You're welcome, Chief Awolowo.
God bless you, my man. I wish you the best of the week.
Thank you very much.
Golden voice of Obu Ahunba Hudike. Chief Awolowo Nkwodede Umuwada Muzi Ikenazi Obo. They are in Imo State called a third revolution. Let me put it to us. It's very unfortunate and sad, very unacceptable that only in Nigeria protests are politicized by our leaders. What I mean is, protest is peaceful protest, especially is the one of the rudiments of democracy, and is always taken very serious by those who are in authority. But the case of Nigeria is otherwise. We are here, you see, President went to Borno and was almost pulled down by the protesters against killings in that state under his watch. And he came back, the spokesman went ahead and was telling the whole world that the protesters were hired. Who are those protesters? Are they from Burkina Faso? Are they from Niger? Are they from London? Are they not Nigerians that have seen their lives wasted and reused in the toughest insecurity in the land?
Quickly wrap up your thoughts, Chief.
Yes, what I want to say is the government should take very serious cognizance every peaceful protest. Just like in Imo, we have to, Imo lights are protesting because what they saw from the Sriko ruling is unacceptable. I said the Sriko should now adjust themselves to that protest, and that's what they want to do.
Okay.
So we must call it first. God bless you.
Thank you, Chief Awolowo there. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
I'm Mr. Swago Princewell from here in Omonachogo.
You're welcome, Mr. Princewell.
Mike, bear it in mind that it is not good for one to play illegality with legality. What Garuba Shehu is telling us is quite illegal. The Constitution has made it for people to express their views through protest. I'm seeing Garuba Shehu and his cohort as a drowning people. A drowning man, wherever he sees something, he clicks his hands on that thing. The present administration is playing illegality in the sense that the service chiefs ought to have been resigned by now. Even though they have performed perfectly and excellently, the Constitution made it that if your time reaches, you go and stay, and others will be there. But their own is quite different. So I believe they are trying to thwart the Constitution, and it is not good for the civil society to leave them thwarting the Constitution. So I believe the President ought to have listened to the voice of the people, and I believe that the voice of the people is the voice of God. Let him relieve those services if they have overstayed their stay. They are there as a de facto heads of defense. So let him remove them to ensure that things move in this country.
All right.
My team, may God bless you in the studio.
Thank you for your take, Mr. Princewell Oswago. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Michael.
You're welcome. Good morning.
Yeah, it's Alvin. I'm calling you from Bend.
Welcome.
The call for the sack of the service chiefs is long overdue. Michael, in any endeavor, you always aspire to be at the top. Imagine you when by the time you be in a position to work as the director or the head of your department, someone else will stop you. You will not be happy, just like what the person you interviewed said. Maybe moving from the military side, you never can tell, because these ones that are supposed to take over will not be happy seeing, their superior taking charge after their time has expired. But again, if Garba Shehu is telling us that the opposition is sponsoring this protest, who is sponsoring the church? And of course, last time the church is even they are joining, to protest against this senseless killing. Of course, the Catholic Church by Wednesday next week will equally be joining in a peaceful protest to protest against this killings. It's much, it is affecting. I don't think anybody who is calling for protest is right. The security situation is worsening, day by day. Who will say that the person is happy? Even the president, he visited the place where that witnessed massive killing. People booed you after you left. There was a serious attack. That one should have been something that will ask you to sack these people. These people can no longer, do anything. They have run out of ideas, just as Garba Shehu has run out of ideas.
That's your opinion.
He should be the one giving the president good ideas, not trying to. Because I've followed him. Each time there is a problem, he will find one flimsy excuse to hang it on. I tell the president, this is the security problem. And you see, the problem is that they are not giving the president good information. I remember last week the president said he's surprised that this Boko Haram still exists, because you don't get day-to-day update on the current situation. So what I'm telling him is for them to face this security problem, sack these people, add fresh ideas, new blood to the fight. I think there will be a little improvement.
All right.
That's what we're asking for.
All right, Alvan. Thank you very much, Alvan. Hello, good morning to you. I lost that. Keep your calls coming. It's 0808 182 6949. 0811 605 2949. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Michael.
Yes, good morning to you.
Yeah, my name is Vincent Ikeke. I'm born and based in Umaya.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Let me start with the service fees.
Okay.
From what is on the ground, their time for service has expired. And by now, they should have bowed out. Secondly, after 5 years or thereabouts, they are handling the security of the nation. We've not had any serious improvement. And I believe that their ideas and strategies have been exhausted. As a result, there is need to inject new blood, who will come out with strategies that will help out. On the issue of protest, yes, this is enshrined in our constitution. Peaceful protest, which has to be monitored by the security agency to make sure that it is not being taken by the other side of it. But if Mr. President during the election got massive votes in Borno, and after this last massive killing by Boko Haram, he came down and visited where he was good, and his media men or thereabouts are saying that they are being hired. What do we expect? Do we expect the people who voted for him and he could not provide security for them and their kids are being massacred? Do we expect them to start rejoicing at the time he came into Borno? It's not possible. What the government at all levels have failed to understand is this. When the people you are ruling are giving signal that the act of your governance, there's something wrong or there are some weaknesses, you should take correction.
Okay.
I'm not to say that this is the opposition, these people are hired.
All right, quickly
Thank
wrap
you
up
very
your
much.
thoughts, please. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Joseph. There, keep your calls coming. Still have time to get more reactions on this particular issue. The PDP released a statement and said, described the threats and allegations by the presidency that the opposition was sponsoring a protest against the heads of military institutions as not relevant, as ridiculous, self-indicting and diversionary. It said the action of the president further showed the confusion that it claimed pervades the Buhari presidency in the face of discontentment by Nigerians. That's according to the National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Kola Ologbondiyan, alleging that the presidency was planning to blackmail the media and the opposition. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Michael.
You're welcome. Good morning.
I'm Mr. Madu Edward, aka Editor-in-Chief, Iron Pillar. This morning, I call from the group people of Alike, Ikran Zobo.
You're welcome, Mr. Madu Edward.
Thank you. I can see the reason why. When Nigeria proved their annoyance or to notify the entire world of what they are passing through, somebody will come up to blackmail it, sabotage it, and they tried to find a way to blackmail it. Because the reason why is due to why. The whole thing that are going on in the country is getting worse every day. The country is in the afraid. The country is in a very sad situation. Everything in this country now, everybody we are asking, is it a nation or is it a one nation? Because you are Mr. President of democracy, and these things are happening. Nigerians have found out the points where the is leaking. And they told you, Mr. President, if you find these people, sack them. Bring new experience, new people, to bring more wisdom, new style, to see if this problem can stop. What you do is you went on and sabotage those people's agitations. How do we survive? If you have any hidden agenda over the whole thing, what is going on with this current service chief that you have stayed for over 5 years? Like what Abanida said. He said, we voted you 2015 and we voted you 2019. Service chiefs, we didn't vote them. They are under the constitutional appointment, which they can be dropped anytime. And then now they are working, their jobs are leaking several places here and there. Why can't you drop them or bring another people or service the security system of this country? Look at the other day you give them flight jet, the fighter jet, that they use. Is it the problem? You give them, is it the problem? That is not the problem. This is a material disease. We may look at it. People are killing with different styles. When you fly and drop, these people come up and fight. Like what happened now, you went to Boronu. After you left, there was another killing. After the one that have already killed already, there was another one. And up to now, it's still happening. You can't identify a single person. What the federal government did was to free the arrested Boko Haram, claiming that they are repentant. How can a criminal repent just easily like that, without any penalty? You release him to go back to his trench to fight again. You see the way? Those people that are arrested during the time of Jonathan have been released. And they are telling us you are fighting Boko Haram, you have betrayed them, you have do this, you do that. While the ones already captured, you have already released them with the money or other things. Well then, people are still crying.
Okay, quickly wrap up your thoughts, please, Mr. Madu Edward.
Borno used to be a powerful city before that, where the market is moving fast. People there now run away. Other part of the north, even not only in the north, other middle belt, middle east, north central, people are afraid. It's like someone said about Kaduna. You cannot move a tread on that Kaduna road anymore. Even Kaduna Mina, you can't go that road again. Due to why? Due to insecurity.
Okay. Your time is up, Mr. Madu Edward.
Please. If you cannot handle this, like your body said, then resign from
That's your opinion, okay? Thank you very much for your take. Hello, good morning to you. 0808 182 6949 0811 605 2949. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Michael, it's very unfortunate that things are happening in this country, and our president will come out and tell us that we should not attack anybody coming to attack us. We should not retaliate, rather we should take it to the government agency. And at the same time, if people are crying, shouting, not one person, not two persons, and you're trying to politicize it, how will you tell us that people who are protesting over the insecurity in the country are being sponsored by PDP? And I want to ask a question. All those people that are being killed every blessed day in this country called Nigeria, is it PDP that are been sponsoring them? I still want to take them back to their promise. As at 2015, they said 2014/2015, they said if we are unable to fight insurgency in a space of 6 months, you people should push us out from the office. But they have even said more than expected. That is number one. Number two, I expect President Buhari by now to take most of the security chiefs. Those of them that are due for retirement should go on retirement. Those of them who their offices are not really doing what they are supposed to do, they should change them. Nobody is against anybody. All we need is peace in this country. Okay, take for instance, I was meant to understand over the weekend or there about that Rotimi Amaechi was in Abia State, Gregory University precisely, and he was welcomed. He was taken good care of by Abia State government and the people of Abia State. But he went to North. He ran for his dear life. That is to show you there is a disconnect somewhere. Now, can Minister of Transport deny that particular fact that he ran away from a particular train station where he went to do one or two things or the other about? It's to tell me that insecurity in... He said?
Go ahead, please. Quickly wrap up your thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, my brother. It's to tell you that insecurity in the country is on the high increase. And you'll see most of them with the presidency will keep on covering things and all the rest of them. How I wish that all these whole things that Garba will always say, keep on saying that one day that this particular insurgency will meet him.
All right.
So that he can easily confess by
your time is up.
Mouth.
Thank you very much for participating. Wakwechi Debere. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, welcome. Good morning.
Yes, I'm Chief Charles Obia, calling from my hometown, in Imo State.
You're welcome, Chief.
Yes, from the onlooking, what we are seeing, we can see that even the president and the service chiefs, they are all tired of what is confronting them. But I find it difficult to believe that these boys, who were not trained, they are not trained. They were just used for electoral malpractices, and now they are stronger than the Nigerian army. It's not good that this is happening. So what I'm saying is that the president shouldn't say that this is being manipulated by the politicians. This is what the people themselves, they felt that they are being not only destroyed, but being annihilated. So what I'm saying in earnest is that I don't see the reason why the military can't beat them with all their aids, the aeroplanes and warships and all these things. They can't defeat these small boys. So I'm saying that if they are tired, they should, even from the head to the toe, should resign. They should resign because this thing seems to be continuing, and it will continue until they get us from this office by 2023.
All right,
so
Chief.
I'm pleading, yes, my brother, let us see what they are going to do. Let them change the hands. Let them change all these services. From even look at common policeman collecting extortions on our roads. It has not been solved, and you are talking of Boko Haram. Why can't they solve this thing? The Transparency International, are they not seeing them? Thank you, and God bless you.
Okay, thank you very much, Chief, for your contribution this morning. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Michael.
Yes, good morning.
This is Don Jessica for you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good morning.
Yes, I had a conversation with People are, I want to say something on this. Remember
Okay.
that I was saying this feeling good that is together affected by the president. And the president have affected that this person has taken. Then the question is this: we have to do, they have to answer to Nigeria this question, because I think if this is affected by local authorities. Now, remember after that incident on that day, after the president said that day, then 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 he left. Then the leader of Boko Haram said something. He said that he did not repeat. He let him not try to repeat that again in that day. Not come back that to me again. And they have welcomed him, they have enjoyed him. In the sense that we are still expecting that their presidency should also tell us that if there is that system opposition, is the one sponsoring that leader of Boko Haram that come out without such comment. So now, when things like this happen, we are expecting them to come down, let them think the reason of these people protesting, the reason of these people booing the president, the reason of people crying foul, the reason of people saying that the administration of this government is not functioning well, it's not doing the needful. Instead of them to be talking bad, instead of them to be talking hard, instead of them to be lambasting to the people that are saying it, let them come down, sit down and reason it. What are we going to do for these people to stop protesting? What are the things that we're supposed to do that our subjects, the people who are ruling, and be able to face the democracy of the state? That's the reason.
All right.
I want to tell you the reason why this is happening.
Please
Because
wrap up your thoughts.
all these our leaders
move
they are not been experiencing all this, because most of them they surrounded them with the security. If we put those security from them now, Michael, let me tell you.
All right. Quickly wrap up your thoughts, please.
Let these security that do surrounded them be removed. Let them be removed from them. That's why they are not experiencing all these kind of things.
Okay.
People are saying that they are beating every day and them there. They're not experiencing. That's why they are continuing even ignoring what.
Thank you very much, Don Casey Guy, for real. Thank you very much. Find the Oni and Flo family. Protest in any nation is legal except the type and class of protest. The call to retire service chiefs is a big noise, baseless and lack merit. The president is the chief security of the nation, and they cannot take that constitutional power from him by blackmail. If these miscreants have something to offer, okay, you won't call the service chiefs a miscreant, please. It's very important. Peter O. Bender from Olokoro. Thank you, Mr. Presenter. The naked truth is that security in Nigeria has gone above the so-called security chiefs in the country. Mr. Buhari is no longer in control. Unfortunately, he's not ready to resign. It is unfair. Nigerians should speak out now, okay? Permit me to say that Nigerians are disappointed with the president over the worst killings experienced now in the country. So let him sack the service chiefs. That's from Chief Awolowo Nkwodede. Garuba Shehu tell us if the killing in Uno is not true. We want answers now. Undubisi from Umukabia. That's in Umuahia. All right. Good morning, Mike. I'm Prince Uloswago. Protest is an ingredient of democracy as enshrined in the Constitution. And let Garuba Shehu bear in mind that the continual stay of the service chiefs is quite de facto because their tenures have elapsed. All right, those are the messages. Thank you very much for your contributions this morning on the program, the platform, and also for your calls and messages. Many thanks to the producer of the program, Samson Eze. My name is Michael Oni. The program returns on Wednesday when we bring up another issue as it affects our dear nation, Nigeria. Do enjoy the rest of your day and keep your dial locked here on Flow 94.9 FM. Don't forget to watch this episode of the program on our YouTube page. It's Flow FM TV on YouTube.
At Flow 94.9 FM, we've got conducive and well-secured environment for business. High-tech video studio, a state-of-the-art production studio. You can also listen live on www.flow949fm.com and watch our videos on YouTube at Flow FM TV. Flow 94.9 FM, not just radio, but a complete broadcasting house.